So what's on my mind at the moment is the idea of cynicism, skepticism, and authenticity. So we'll start with cynicism, and that is the notion of people doing stuff for their own self-interest, and this applies to compassionate acts such as doing good for others. So even if you're doing things which are seemingly and genuinely selfless, such as charitable goods, voluntary work, etc., there's a innate, inherent selfish act in this, in that it makes you feel good in some way because you're doing good for others. And it's a selfishness which I think cynicism derives from, in that everybody's doing something out of a notion of selfishness, even if it appears selfless, which is kind of paradoxical, I guess, and kind of oxymoronic if you say selfish selflessness. But I think it's a unity which is everywhere where there is compassion. And I don't think this is bad, and I think I'm like this, and I don't believe it consequences in nihilism, because if nihilism is a refutation of objective moral value, such as good and bad, then I don't think this is directly related with cynicism, because with selfishness there is the desire for feeling good, I guess. Skepticism is a different swim of fish, I guess. Skepticism about other people and their drives and motivations onto you can inhibit you from being authentic out of fear, I guess. So I guess those two are pretty closely related, and perhaps so is cynicism, but this is just a stream of consciousness, so I'm not interested in relating those if it doesn't come natural, spontaneously to me at the moment. Today I had a sort of dilemma. I reached out to somebody who used to be dear to me, and the conditioning I've put myself through the red pill told me, no, don't do that, that's weak, you look like a bitch, etc. You're allowing yourself to be potentially hurt for old emotions to re-manifest in different forms. But I did, and it was painful, especially afterward. But it was right. And even if you do things which may result in you being hurt, perhaps they're the right thing to do. And perhaps to tell the difference between right and wrong, you merely have to, well, pardon the cliche, but listen to your heart, you know? Go through what intuition tells you, and then apply a bit of reason, because emotion isn't reliable, and we have our reasoning minds for a reason, you know. And reason can tell you a lot of things, like if, for example, you want to go out and want to get some fuck out of feeling lonely and empty, then you'll soon find that doing such things don't, if acted upon, don't fulfill you. So if you apply a bit of reason and exercise looking at yourself objectively, then perhaps you'll find that this isn't the right course of action to take, and instead that there are some underlying things to be dealt with pertaining to this painful emotional state you are enduring, you know. So authenticity is a tricky one, because we live in the West anyway, whatever, I think everywhere you've got pressures of this and that, especially through consuming information from the internet, and if you watch TV and series and shit, then you've got that as well, burdening you from being congruent. Yeah, I think to live authentically, you must endure the pain and not act compulsively, and not strive for these quick wins and approval of others. For example, you could be, like I've had problems recently with food, for example, and you could be feeling some kind of pain, some sort of anxiety, and you could run from it through compulsive eating. Or other examples, binge watching TV, compulsive buying, one-night stands, talking to friends and seeking validation, porn and masturbation, compulsively working. All of these things can be, in one way or another, running from the source of pain. And a book by a guy called David Deida says about sitting with the pain, being still with it, you know. Well, how to do that when I can go get some Special K, you know? Well, you allow yourself to listen to yourself, you know? And through that you can originate the pain and ride with it, see where it comes from. It'll hurt, and you probably have to face some things, but I think a lot of what I see when I walk around and you just look at people and their faces just express pain, you know? They just look as if they're hurting, as if they're living a lie, I guess, of what ifs and regrets, and why do I have to put up with this? And I ain't perfect, by no means. But if I put on a front and I put up a defensive wall, you know what I mean, from others, from myself therefore, then I risk living authentically. And people say, you know, well, I'm doing it because I want to do it, or whatever. And this is just kind of a reactive response, I guess. Why did you buy that? Oh, I like it. I wanted it. Okay. Cool. But a lot of it seems to be running away a lot of the time. And I don't think, again, this is no moral, you know, high ground, but because I'm, you know, I fall prey to this as well. That sounds victimhoody, but it's not what I mean. But people do unconsciously, I don't think a lot of people are self-aware enough to realise the true motivations behind what they're doing a lot of the time. And if you can sit with the pain and resist these temptations, or be present when you're carrying them out and try to take a bird's eye view of yourself, an objective standpoint of what you're doing, and if it's really congruent with who you are, then you'll probably find out if it's authentic or not. Sick. Dope. Yeah. And if you find yourself, you know, telling everyone, feeling you have to shout out about everything you do, then question why you're doing that. For what reason? Is it because you are lonely and you want to find if someone has a common interest in what you know, if someone has an interest in something you have, you know, you're sharing an artist and you're going, hey, I like this 1920s blues guy, you know, who likes that? Because I'm really interested in talking about it with somebody. Or is it a superiority complex? Is it a, you know, a desire for significance? Which is fine, you know, but are you allowing that need, if it is a human need for significance, are you allowing it to manifest in a negative way, which is actually an expression of your insecurity? Maybe. Fuck knows.